What's up, y'all? It is February 23rd, 2024. Hey, Neek, you know what Nicholas Batum said when they asked him how does he feel about joining the list of Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jalen Brown as the only players to score 30 points in a half that season?
Nah, what he said.
He said, well, that's pretty good for them to be on that list with me. What's up, y'all? We are the Hoopstorians on the ones and the twos, as you heard by the intro. I'm Tony Styles. That is unique over there.
What
Let's
up?
go ahead and get in. Let's get into this day in NBA history. February 23rd, 1994. The Schick rookie game was introduced for the very first time in Minneapolis, replacing the Schick's Legend game. For those that don't know about the rookie game, before the rookie game, they had old retired players come play, and some were, 35 playing, and some were 55 playing. And it was wildly different in the terms of play and ability that they were able to do. So do you think we should have the Legends game, or do you think we should continue with the rookie game?
Bro, that would be hilarious to see a senior citizen game out there. I mean, it'll be a liability, which is probably why they can't do it, because somebody gonna get hurt.
I mean,
But
it's on YouTube. You can see it.
man, that'd be comedy. I mean, back then, but I'm saying the legends of today, oh, it's a wrap for them. Our legends
Uh,
are all beat up and done physically.
the original rookie game format was only rookies allowed. I don't remember if they did 10 players or 12, but basically it was the top 20, 24 rookies. They kept having trouble finding, 24 good rookies to play. That's why they ended up switching it to sophomore versus rookie. Do you think it should go back to an all rookie game for the rookie game, or do you think we should continue what we're doing with the sophomore and rookie game? Or do you think maybe we should blend the teams, half sophomore, half rookie? What do you think?
I think I think like other things in the league, it might change throughout the course of like each season. Because if we get like a crop of super dope rookies in, they might want to do an all rookie. Because let's say we get a rookie class where there's like 50 dope rookies that season for whatever reason. Like at that point, then they might be like, you know what? Let's just have them all battle each other. But as of right now, I mean, I don't see no problem with keeping it the rookies versus sophomores because it gives an opportunity to see what the sophomores learned, and it's just more competitive. It's almost like the little brother versus the big brother thing. You feel me?
I feel you. And that was this day in NBA history. All right, let's get into some current NBA news. First off, before we actually get to on court current NBA news, I want to get into a story that I think was, what was it, dominating the summer. Did you hear a couple days ago that a Georgia judge denied Dwight Howard's motion to immediately dismiss the lawsuit against him?
Denied it. Well, no, I didn't hear it, but now I'm trying to think because what is he trying to? What is he getting sued for? I can't even remember.
Well, he's getting sued for supposedly intentional infliction of emotional distress and false imprisonment. He had a liaison with a man over I don't know, I guess it was what, 2021 when this happened. Salutations to you too as well, Ted. Um, yeah, he had a liaison with a man, and
Hmm.
supposedly he brought another man to the party, and then they sexually assaulted the man allegedly. It hasn't been through court or whatever. That's what Stephen Howard has claimed. And Dwight Howard's claimed no, it was a consensual one. Mace says it cannot be consensual if it's a surprise. But
Right.
I don't know how much of a which I don't know how much of a surprise it was, because according to the text message, he asked about a threesome. So I don't know. It didn't say whether he said no, yes, but it wasn't completely out of left field. You knew that was something obviously he was trying to do. I'm not saying it was right, wrong, or whatever. I'm just saying there was some sort of heads up there. Um, the thing that really stood out to me was is Howard's lawyer said this is nothing more than a classic case of unrequited love. After one consensual evening together, Mr. Howard was no longer interested in keeping Mr. Harper's company.
Yo, doing and moving on a douche is crazy. Um, okay, so I knew about the incident that occurred, but it sounds like so the issue was that not only is he saying that it was forced upon him, but he's also saying that he was held beyond his will
I guess that he was held
or against
captive,
his
false
will.
imprisonment. Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting. Okay. And Dwight Howard wants us to miss because of what?
Because he said it was consensual and that he's just jaded because I'm not returning his love. He wants some more. He wants some more of this DH12, and I'm
Yeah.
not willing to give him that.
Okay, got it. Oh, um, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but
Yeah,
if he
they
has a
did.
message,
Well, I was going to say they also though they managed to get the exhibit file sealed because they said the texts were sexually explicit and embarrassing to Dwight Howard, and now those are sealed. But they're already all over the internet. So I mean, I guess maybe there's more. I don't know.
I would imagine them being open though kind of helps his case though, as far as the intentions and also just how much knowledge he had beforehand. But I mean, why be embarrassed about something you requested? I'm confused.
Well, what I'm confused is when people ask him questions about it, he's like, "Why do you care? Why does it matter?" Like if he was on the podcast, he's like, "Well, why do you care?" I would say, "Because it's funny, motherfucker. Not only is it funny, it's interesting. It's something to talk about. People are interested. That's why I care. It's funny that for years you said no, this wasn't the case, and then it turns out it was or wasn't. I don't know. Sexuality is very fluid now, and everybody's saying, just because you do something with somebody doesn't make you that certain. And I don't know, but that's why it's funny, and that's why, Dwight, that we care. That's why our listeners care. That's why everybody's listeners care. And that's why if you see videos about it, especially on popular networks such as like Joe Budden, It Is What It Is podcast, you see a lot of views with it
Yeah,
because people care.
yeah.
Now, why do we care? If you didn't want us to care, you shouldn't have been a celebrity. If you were working at Dunkin' Donuts, nobody would care. Nobody would give
Um,
a shit if you were working at Dunkin' Donuts. Not only would nobody care if you didn't have a six pack of baby mamas, nobody would care either on that. But you
so
led one way and then it came out a different, and it's surprising. Anytime you swerve someone and there's a twist ending on it, that's surprising and that's interesting. Think of all the great movies. Have you ever watched The Sixth Sense? That movie sucks. It just has a
I love the
twist
Sixth
ending.
Sense. No, the
That movie
Sixth Sense
sucks.
is great. No,
No, it
I
has a
like the
twist
Sixth Sense.
ending. Everybody thought that was. Tell me what you like about The Sixth Sense.
I like the story. First of all, I'm an analytical person, so I was calling what was going to happen in the movie the whole time. But at the same time, what I liked about the movie is, I mean,
The New Kids on the
I like
Block.
the what?
The New Kids on the
No, I
Block.
like I like the story. I like how down the mom was for her son. I like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I mean the twist was dope as well, but at the same time for me it was kind of predictable throughout the movie just by how Bruce Willis' wife wasn't messing with him and stuff like that, just the way she was acting. So I felt like the acting was cool. But like I said, the way I interpret and analyze movies and stuff like that, I'm able to see things in characters' faces and the development and stuff like that to know what's going on, but the story itself was cool. Like it wasn't no whack movie, in my
Did you
opinion, at least.
wait? But did you like the Dwight Howard twist end, where he brought the secret surprise kitty for the threesome, and then he was saying this is all consensual, and Stephen Howard, I guess, is saying it's not. So did you like that twist?
I mean, I'm not aware that it was a twist. Like originally, when it came out, it was said that it was supposed to be, more than one party. So it's like I don't understand where we confused or where we're like, well, couple things. Because if I recall correctly, I think he might have been like, yeah, I'm cool with it, but at the same time, like he was asking questions, and in my mind, that
I
could
bel
mean like,
I believe
huh?
he said. I believe Dwight Howard said to him. He goes, "Do you want a threesome?" And he might have said with who. He's like with a guy or a
Right.
girl, and then I think the dude said, "Is that what you want?" So, I
Right.
mean, if that's all I have to go off of, that to me that sounds like a yes. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but that doesn't sound like a no.
So a few things though, because it's not. all out yes. That means don't assume, you feel me? So it's like unless the person says, yes, this is what I want to do, yes, this is what I'm signing up for. Unfortunately, you can't. I mean, it's not unfortunate, but you can't assume that they're cool with. Even if you tell them, like, "Yo, this is what I want." If they don't say, "I want that too," you can't assume they cool with it. At this point, all you've done is let them know what it was you like. They don't have to like the same thing to acknowledge what you like.
Do you think this
So that
trial can take over pop culture like the way the Amber Heard
no,
Johnny Depp thing?
no.
No.
I mean, even the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing then already fell off. You feel me? Like
No, I just mean for
until
the summer. Will this be the trial of the
oh
summer where everybody's interested in it for
no,
2, 3 months?
No, bro, because it's been way too much going on in 2024 already. It started off blazing. So by the time summer happened, ain't no telling what new things are gonna be in development, what new things that came out, what new juices out there. So nah, I don't. I don't think so. We're probably gonna laugh about it for like a week or two, and that's about it. Oh,
Well,
and I wanted to say this. I did want to touch on this though. I do feel as though celebrities, I do feel as though athletes and famous people, I do
mhm.
feel as though they do have a right to their privacy. I just also feel as though they need to understand the platform and they need to understand that they are held to a different standard and just for their own safety, be smart, be mindful. Don't be sending people text messages if you got secrets. Like, don't leave no receipt if you don't want your business out there. So don't turn around and be like, don't be in my business when you done left the receipt that can't, I mean, because once you put information out there, you can't control where it goes. So it's like, if you want to be in a closet, you better live a more secretive life or just come out. I'm not
Well,
saying you got to do either or, but I am saying for your own sanity, for your own safety, for your own security, this might be in your best interest to move a little more carefully.
I've always felt, and I've always told people this: if you don't want people talking about it, then don't do it. Because ultimately, I've always hated that. Keep my name out your mouth. Well, who are you to run my mouth? Who are you to run my like? I get to say what I want to say. You know what I mean? If you don't like what I say, you don't have to, but you don't get to control my mouth. So if you
Mhm.
don't want people saying these things or talking about it, or don't do it, or learn to not care. You got to choose which way you want to go.
That- That's the
Because to
best
be
thing,
honest,
learn to not care.
right, because ultimately, I mean, there's a saying, when you're 20, you care what people think. When you're 40, you don't care what anybody thinks. And when you're 60, you realize nobody was even thinking about you to begin with. Obviously, that's not going to apply with somebody like a Dwight Howard or something like that. But you're going to have to get to that Karen level. And I don't mean Karen, I mean that non-caring
Caring.
level.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to realize, like, yo, man, like, if I was him and I'm not him, I would just be like, yo, man, I do whatever I want to do, and that's it. And I don't want to tell you about, just like you guys don't want to tell me about certain things you do. If y'all find out, y'all find out. It's whatever. But I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna be cool with me. Matter of fact, ever since that's happened, he's been going on live on TikTok a whole lot. So that's where
The
that
White
is.
House?
Yeah, Dwight has. He's been going live on TikTok a whole lot. So but let's pivot off that. I just thought it was interesting that so it does look like the case will be moving forward. So a little bit of tea
Damn.
for the podcast. I want to talk about teams that you think right now. We got the last third of the season to go. We're past the All Star break, so we're in the home stretch. I want to talk about teams that you think have a chance to win a title. Because of right now, through the first 2/3 of the season, two teams really stand out to me, and I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to a third. How many teams are you in it that got like a really, really good chance to win? You think?
I have three, but at the same time, I think it might be five. I think there's two teams that could potentially do it, and one of them is a surprise. Like one of them, I think is a surprise team that could potentially do it.
Hmm.
One is more of a veteran-based team, so that's the reason why I think they might be able to do it.
Well, let's break it down.
But
Start telling me which teams these are.
so the team I think that might surprise people is the Young Bulls and OKC. I think, but it's not necessarily that I expect them to win the title. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up in a position where they end up going against the Eastern team that they could actually beat. So that's really what it is. LA, I feel like the Clippers, I feel like they could. They already have a champion on their team. They have all of these veterans. They have a lot of leadership. They have the depth.
They got an MVP coming off the bench.
Right. So I think the Clippers they have a good chance. Denver, for obvious reasons. Denver's, they're already a champ. They've
Hmm.
already proven that. You feel me? They got the same core for the most part. So yeah, Denver, and then they also have a decent record. They got a good record. You feel me? So it's not like they fell off. Um, Boston, of course. I mean, I don't know what to say. Boston is the number one team in the league. They're hungry right now. Still, Tatum is one of the best players in the league. He's been for a while at this point. Um, they failed a few times, so they know what it feels like to get far through the playoffs, but at the same time, not achieve what they want to. And for great players, that's going to make you want to excel. That's going to make you work harder. It's going to make you want to get back to that same exact position so you can do what you should have did in the first time.
Hmm.
So I feel as though Boston, good chance to win. Milwaukee, another team, another championship team. They then brought a clutch player and Dame to their team. So you know how Dame get down in the playoffs. So that could definitely come in handy for them down the road. Even if I doubt Giannis is gonna have any bad games in the playoffs, but if it did happen, you feel me? Dame is
Well,
a
we've seen
good,
Giannis put up bad games before in the playoffs.
huh?
We've seen Giannis put up bad games before in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, that it don't really speak much to like what to expect of Giannis in the playoffs because we've also seen Giannis take over games in the playoffs. And that's going to be the most memorable. That's going to be the best representation of what to expect from Giannis going into the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what you got? I know you about to get more in depth. I just wanted to, sprawl
No,
mine
no,
out
no.
real
I
quick.
got you. Well, I want to say this before I get into like the real contenders. So I'm gonna go with I think there is a scenario, those you remember in what was it? Oh, in Infinity War. So do you
Yeah.
remember when Doctor Strange looks all through and all the possibility ways to beat Thanos and it's like 1 in 15 million? So when they simulate games and they figure out a rating, so if you ever go to any sort of stat website and they say who they think is going to win, and this team has a 56% chance, this team has a 44% chance, they base that off 10,000 simulations. So I'm just going with these. I think there is a scenario where the Phoenix Suns do win it at a very small percentage. Okay, but they are way down the list. Way down the list. They are like the 10th best team I think that's got a chance to win it or something like that. So there is a scenario where they do,
Mhm.
but it's going to be crazy.
Well, I mean, let's be real about the Phoenix.
We never said the Bulls were going to win it all. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I said young Bulls. I wasn't. I wasn't. I wasn't talking about the Chicago Bulls. I was talking about the OKC team because a lot of them are young. So when I said Bull, I was referring to like young
Right.
sprouty young. You feel me? I went.
Right. So I think there is a scenario where the Suns win it, but they are way down the list. I think there's a scenario where the Bucks win it, but they are way down the list. They are terrible at
They're down the
defense now
list. Why the Bucks way down on the list?
because their defense has really slipped. It
You
is
don't
not
think
a
they'll
good
turn it up?
not defense. Damian Lillard is terrible at defense. Their
Yeah,
best
but it ain't
defender,
just Dame. It ain't just Dame, no.
who's their perimeter defender? It's a perimeter based league. Who's the perimeter defender? They used to have one, now they
Hey,
don't.
better offense beats better defense. They just got to put more buckets up.
They do, but we're seeing it in wins. We're seeing it in net rating. We're seeing it in defensive rating. We're seeing it everywhere. Since Doc became the coach, they're what 3-7. The coaching change hasn't worked out. And boy, Steven, that Milwaukee can't fix that defense. They had 55 games to fix it, and they're just getting worse and worse. Adrian Griffin had him humming at a decent clip after the beginning. And then now with Doc, it's just going worse. Doc has been known for meltdowns, 3-1 leads. He's the leader in that. So yeah, I don't think Doc makes good in-game adjustments at all. Yeah, so they are down the
That's
list.
how I
They
feel
have
about Steve.
right. So they are Steve Kerr. Yeah, I see that. So yeah, they are way down the list. I think the Warriors have absolutely no shot of winning it. What we've seen through the first 55 games. I think there is a slight scenario like 1 in 10,000 where maybe the Lakers can turn it on and win it, like when they were really focused on winning those play the in-season cup tournament. If somehow they can play, but they just can't. So there is a way, so maybe that's like seventh or something like that. um, I look at a scenario with I have no hope in the 76ers. Injured Embiid. Embiid has never got past the second
That's a
round.
wrap.
So no hope in that. I see a scenario where the Knicks could possibly win it, a couple times out of those 10,000 scenario, if Brunson's really going off and all that. That dude, I said this last year. That dude was the best guard in New York last year. and Kyrie played there. So that dude is playing awesome. I give no hope for Dallas. Who else? Oh,
No hope for that.
Cleveland's been playing awesome too, but I give them no hope as well.
Cleveland
Um,
is playing good. I didn't list them either because I don't see them as being able to get it done. So
you know
I'm
why?
with you
You
on
know
that.
why? Because Donovan Mitchell sucks in the playoffs. There's one time he has shot good in the playoffs, and that was in the bubble. Look at his field goal percentage every year. And I think one year he was shooting like 32%, 27%. I mean, it's crazy. He's
27
six.
is crazy.
We got Ticket on. What's up, Ticket? And all that.
What up?
When you gonna get us on the show, Ticket? Been wanting to talk with you and all that. I mean, I got Kobe outside the top 10. I've been waiting to debate this with you. Um,
Oh wait.
so so yeah, I don't see anywhere Cleveland, especially with Donovan Mitchell. I hate 6'1" scoring guards. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate
Why?
them. I hate them. Because they're always
Why?
inefficient. They're always inefficient. The best we've ever seen do it is Curry, and that's 6'3". And 6'1" is not
I don't even
6'3".
think he'll legit 6'3". He like
All right.
6'2", really. But I feel you.
But I mean, then maybe Mitchell really isn't a legit 6'1". All right, yeah,
Nah, I
let me
doubt
hit
it.
it. But anyways, we've just never seen that with short guards. Iverson couldn't do it as a short guard. Marbury couldn't do it as a short guard. Francis couldn't do it as a short guard. And we have all these years of showing that short guards cannot do it. Then we got Donovan Mitchell, who's now what, 7 years in the league. He's had one good shooting playoff series. He's had one good shooting playoff performance in the time, and that was in the bubble. And that was his only good one, and that's because no fans was there. Now, I'll put it this way: if people showed out in the bubble, I'm not saying it doesn't count, but it depends who did it. For example, LeBron winning a ring, like that bubble ring doesn't count. Why? He won rings in non-bubble years. Donovan Mitchell, he only shot good in the bubble. He didn't shoot good before or after, so it doesn't count. TJ Warren averaged like 27 in the bubble. Didn't average before, so it doesn't count. It depends who did what in the bubble.
Mhm.
So, I'll tell you this much. Mobley might not have improved since he drafted, and I like Mobley, and I'm going to disagree with that. But even that as I think Jarrett Allen has a case for Defensive Player of the Year this year, and we'll get into that later. So yeah, I just don't like him with the Donovan Mitchell led team. I think, to be honest with you, they need to trade him. He wants to go to New York anyways, and I think they need to hand that reins over to Darius Garland. I think that's where the future is. I think that's the more exciting play. So that's why I don't like it. Now that brings me up to the next two teams that are looking awesome, but we have never seen this in history, and that's what I do here at the HoopStorians. Go off history. So we have the Timberwolves and we have the Thunder. We have never seen those teams are building from the ground up, right? They weren't assembled together. It was through drafting. It was through nurturing. It was through that. What was I going to say? I agree that he hasn't gotten better offensively. However, though, I think he's much more engaged as far as floating in and out of games as he was at the beginning of his career, and still relying on his talent. Now, back to the point of the Thunder and the Timberwolves. We have never seen a team off growing just go from first round or no rounds to NBA title. We have seen teams such as like the '08 Celtics. They were assembled. They went from no playoffs to title next year, but normally it takes some steps. You lose in the first round, you make the playoffs, you get a second round. So that's what I'm saying. We have the Timberwolves, who don't have any playoff wins. We have the Thunder, who haven't been in the playoffs with this group. I cannot see them going from no playoffs, first round, automatically the title. Even the Warriors, when they hadn't made the playoffs, they won a round, lost in the second. The next year they came back, got bounced in the first. Then they came back and won a title. They had a couple years of losing with a win to show us that they could do that. So that's where I'm at on the Timberwolves and Thunders having no chance. Disagree? Agree? Where we at on that?
No, remember I was saying like OKC was the first team that I said, and I admitted the
Mhm.
fact that they may not possibly do it, but it's the fact that they are an up and coming team. So it's like it wouldn't be a shock if they did. It wouldn't be that big of a shock, I should say. It
Right.
would be one of those ones where wow, they really did it. They first time going, but at the same time, it's like they've been playing well all season. So
No, and they have, but like I'm saying, that doesn't translate necessarily into postseason success. We have
no,
seen
it
we have
doesn't.
seen like the Mavericks. We saw the Mavericks. I remember Mike D'Antoni, the Suns that year that the Mavericks won 67-15, got bounced in the first round. The Suns that year won 61 games, and Mike D'Antoni, he said, I don't think we're going to catch the Mavs. They just don't lose. So we've seen we've seen that before, and we've seen it not translate. So right now, where I'm at, third on my list is the Denver Nuggets. And the only reason why I have them third and I don't have them in some other category is because they've already won it. But they are not looking particularly dominant. They're 37 and 19. They are 18th in points in the game, which is crazy because you think arguably Jokic has an argument to be the best offensive player ever when you factor in his passing and his scoring and his availability to put it on the floor. And it's a funny way he puts it on the floor, but it's still effective. His shooting and his shooting's average, but it somehow works and it's effective. And then his post up game, his offensive rebounding and all that. His screening. There is an argument like if you say Jordan's the best player in the game, Jokic kills him in passing, kills him in offensive rebounding, kills him in screening. He's a better three-point shooter than him. So, I mean, I'm just talking about from every factor that you want offensively, Jokic can do that. So I think it's weird that they're 18th in the league in points. They're sixth in points allowed. They're 28th out of 30 in pace. So that also factors into why they are sixth in defense in points allowed because they are one of the slowest teams in the league. Um, they have their simple rating system. They're eighth out of 30, and they have a offensive rating of 13th. They have a defensive rating of 11th, and their net rating is only ninth. So that's what I'm saying there. So, but since they did it, and there's an argument that they have the best player in the league, I'm not willing to crown Jokic the best player in the league because I think Giannis's defense separates him as best player in the league. But really, if you want to pick Giannis or Jokic as the best player, I completely understand why. I think Jokic is a much better offensive player. But I think Giannis's gap between his defense and Jokic is much farther than Jokic's gap between Giannis is on the offensive end. So that's why I still like Giannis as the best player in the league. But if you got Jokic, you got Jokic. The experience will help the Nuggets, and that's why I have them right now as one of only three teams that I think can win the title. Last year, though, you said if they go on a run at the end. Last year they faded at the end. And they were happy and they started fading. So I believe since they did that last year and now they have a title to back it up, I have no idea why they would want to go on a run this year. I think they're more concerned about getting healthy, especially with Jamal Murray and his injury history. I think that's all they care about is let's be cohesive, and they feel like they can win anywhere. Um,
Right. Yeah, I don't think they care well, I don't know. I mean, because you do want to knock teams out real quick. That way you can get your break and get your rest in. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see them going on a run in the beginning. I could see them going on a run in the end. What I do see is regardless on what the situation is, they're ready. So even how it looks, even if it doesn't look like throughout the season that they're a better team or anything like that, I do feel like in the playoffs they're going to show you what they really made of.
No, and I agree with that. And that's why right now, anytime you are the champ and you're coming back with that core, and that core is not old and decrepit or anything like that, I can't cancel you out. That's why in 2000, for example, after Duncan won his first title, and it was all about the Blazers and the Lakers. And if you remember correctly, the Blazers and the Lakers went into one game. They were each 45 and 11. The Lakers won that game, and they went the rest of the season after being 45 and 11. They went 22 and 4, and then the Blazers, they fell apart and they went 14 and 12. So,
Mm.
and everybody was talking about those two, and I go, yo, but we can't count out the Spurs. They just won a title. They just dominated and won a title. They went 15-2 in the playoffs. They went 31 and 5 over their last 36 games. Nobody could score on them. So that's why I never ever count out the title team that won it the year before. They're bringing back their core players, and their core players are still young. So yeah, that's why I have them at third. The team that I have at second right now, um, to win the title is the LA Clippers. The
Oh,
LA
you got the
Clippers,
Clippers too. Okay.
absolutely. I mean, the Clippers are killing it right now. Why wouldn't I have the Clippers? The Clippers right now, they are ninth in scoring. They are 10th in opponent points allowed. They're 21st in pace, and they're fourth in the simple rating system. They have an offensive rating of fourth. They have a defensive rating of 13th, and they have a net rating of fifth. Now, the problem with these numbers are they started off 8 and 10, and since then they've been 28 and 10. So the numbers will be skewed because for the first third of the season, almost 20 games, um, they weren't playing well. They weren't playing well at
No,
all.
no. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kawhi was missing some of them games though, right? And Paul, if I'm not
No, they might
mistaken.
they no. Quite I'm not saying that Quite didn't miss any games at the beginning or anything like that, but it still was a weird team. It wasn't gelling, the chemistry, if you looked like that, the spacing wasn't right, the dribbling, they were dribbling into each other. They just weren't playing cohesively as a unit at all.
Because they had a general. Well, then again, no,
Who was their
it's too many.
general?
It's too many. it's supposed to be Kawhi, but you know what happens when you have too many Chiefs. So, it's chaos. They got, Paul George, that's the GOAT. Um, I don't know. I feel as though part of the issue was that they didn't have Kawhi on the court at that time. Somebody that could really calm the situation
You know
down.
what? I'm tripping. I take that back. I'm tripping. Kawhi didn't start missing games till game like 28. So
Oh,
Kawhi
so
was
he
there
was
for all
there.
the beginning. Yeah. He was there. He just
Okay.
wasn't playing necessarily all the way. He had a game where he had like 8 points. Then he followed it up with a 38-point game. Then he had 18, 17, 26, 14, 15. I mean, he wasn't. Then he had another 8-point game. He just wasn't playing like Kawhi. So that's where that came into play. So they weren't looking good. So their numbers will be skewed
Mhm.
for the first 18 games. But since they have gotten Harden, and not for the first couple games, but since Harden's really started playing and got acclimated to the system, they are running it. And not to
Turned it
mention
up,
where
yeah.
Harden's at and in his career, because Harden is no longer a dominant scorer. Harden is a much better facilitator right now. And with guys like Paul George and Kawhi on the team, they need facilitating. So that is where I have them. You got any thoughts on the Clippers?
Yeah, the Clippers got what, 4 or 5 players that can get you 20 points a game if they really got the green light like that, or if they really asserted themselves in that regard offensively. So, I mean, what you gonna do with a team like that? Too many different offensive threats. I know, like you're saying, James Harden ain't really on a tear this year like he usually is, but at the same time, that's not to say that he lost it. Maybe he just saying, it ain't clicking, but
He hasn't been on that ever since he went from Houston. He's no longer been a 25 point. He wasn't a 25-point scorer in Brooklyn, and maybe you can
he
argue they had
only
Kyrie, but he should have been at least a 25-point scorer with the 76ers. I mean, Maxey
but
was
he
knocking on the door and he was
yeah.
ready, so maybe that's where that came in. But I mean, it didn't stop and beat or anything like that. But I'm just saying, when Daryl Morey said James Harden is the greatest offensive player of all time, that dude should be able to get
Mhm.
25 with his eyes closed and in his sleep.
But he don't even need 25 on the Clippers. He just needs to do 20. Like he just needs to get, a consistent 20.
I don't even know if he needs 20. I think really what he needs is a consistent 10, 12 assist. That's where I'm at with Harden. I think that's where he needs to facilitate. The problem with the Clippers, where I don't like the Clippers, is I don't like their front court, and by their front court is I don't like as far as power forwards and centers go. Maybe you have George playing power forward, maybe you have Kawhi, but they're not true power forwards. I think like Aaron Gordon is much bigger than them. Michael Porter Jr. is much bigger than them when they're playing like Jokic. Who is their Jokic stopper? And I guess that we have the I guess nobody is the Jokic stopper, but that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think that they have an answer for Jokic, and can Jokic beat that offensive firepower by himself? I don't know. With the way they're playing, they are playing much better than the Nuggets, so I don't have the answer for that. But as of right now, they're two. I have them over. I have them over the Nuggets.
Denver.
Yeah, I have them over the Nuggets because, like I said, they got four guys really doing it, and versus one guy really doing it. I am not a Jamal Murray fan. There's a reason why none of the coaches ever vote him in for the All Star game.
The
So
coaches don't like him.
I don't think it's not that coaches don't like him. I think he's a point guard, and one of his worst skills is passing. Um, and he's not a dominant scorer. Now I know they got Zubox and things like that, but I just don't. I don't like that matchup with Zubac versus Jokic. Like I said, I'm not a big Jamal Murray fan. So to me, they have maybe 1.5 stars in Denver, and they still were able to win it. So I think that's really a testament to Jokic personally. And like I said, ever since Jamal Murray personally told me that stupid shit he told me last year, you know what I mean? Like I just looked at him different. And for those that don't know it, Jamal Murray told me last year, any team down 0-2 sucks. So that means there's a bunch of championship teams that have been down 0-2 before. All those championship teams suck. Um, yeah, so I got them number two, and I don't think there's any surprise who my number one team is. Can anybody guess it?
Boston.
Yes, Boston by far. They have been dominant by far. They have just killed it all year long. They are what 44-12. I think they are probably right now the deepest team in the league. They have they're fifth in points per game. They're fifth in opponents' points per game. They're 20th in pace. They're first in simple offensive rating. Their offensive rating is first. Their defensive rating is third, and their net rating is first. Their net rating their net rating of 10.3. The next person's net rating is 7.4, and that is they basically have they are basically 1.5 times over somebody that's got the closest next one. So I don't see anywhere where they can be beat right now in a series. They just have too much of everything. They have Tatum. They have Tatum. That's 27 a game. They have Jalen Brown. That's 22 a game. They have Drew Holiday, who's arguably the best perimeter defender in the league. He's getting you 13. Derek White comes in too. They have the best defensive backcourt with Derek White. He's getting you 16 a game. They got Porzingis, who right now I think is the best third or fourth player in the league. The way he's been playing, he's 20 a game. 20 a game. He's 53% from the field. They got Al Horford, who's not really like it's more of a gel thing. He's only getting you 7 points, but to throw him at Jokic for 20 minutes, to throw
He's a
Porzingis
presence.
out, he's what?
He's a presence. Putting Al Horford out there, he can disrupt some stuff as far as defensively. He can get out there and just sometimes trying to shoot over somebody that size is difficult. You feel me? So it's just
Hmm.
like even though Al Horford, you can't lean on him to give you like a consistent 15. You can lean on him to get out there and mess up the offense for the other team. So yeah.
So real quick, we're just gonna run through the playoffs. Anybody in the comments, you tell us what you think too. We'll just see at this. Okay, so right now, they would have the play-in games. It would be LA and Golden State. They're the ninth and 10th seed. I'm just gonna do top eight. Fuck it.
I like
Let's say Minnesota played Sacramento in the first round. Who would you have?
Minnesota versus Sacramento. Ooh, I'm going with Minnesota.
I'd go with Minnesota too. Then it would be OKC versus Phoenix. Who would you have?
That was tough. I wanna say Phoenix. I'm gonna go Phoenix. I'm gonna go Phoenix.
I would go with Phoenix too. I think the experience with a Durant, Booker, Beal over the inexperience. I would think that
That's
would
what
be
it
them.
is.
Right. Then who
Yeah.
you got? Clippers or Dallas?
Clippers.
I would have Clippers too. And then we got Nuggets, Pelicans.
Nuggets.
Okay. So then in the next round, we got Minnesota, Denver. Who you got?
Minnesota and Denver. Denver.
I would have Denver as well. Then we have the Suns and Clippers. Who would you have?
Ooh,
I think the Clippers would
Clippers.
kick the living shit out of them, especially the
Clippers.
way they're playing right now. I mean, we're talking like
Yeah.
5-5, something like that. Okay, so we have the Clippers
That
and
would
the
be a
Nuggets.
dope. Oh my goodness. Clippers and the Nuggets. Ooh, Clippers.
See, I would go ahead and go the Clippers as well. Then you have Boston, Miami right now in the 1-8.
Bo-
I'd
Boston.
have Boston too. Cleveland, Orlando.
You know what? I think I might go Orlando.
I think I'd go Cleveland. So, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you the tiebreaker. This one, I'll take the next one. So we'll go ahead and push Orlando towards it. Then we got Milwaukee, Indiana.
Milwaukee.
I'd have Milwaukee as well. New York, Philly.
New York.
Right. So then we have Boston, New York.
Boston.
See, that's what's killing me. Like all the Knicks fans, they want to elevate their Knicks team well. I mean, the Knicks, they're only 34 and 22, which I mean, it's not a bad record. It's just not a great record. Um,
Let
and they would get killed by Boston.
let's be real. It's not even that the Knicks are a bad team. That's I'm not saying that. At least not this season. I'm not saying the Knicks are a bad team. What I am saying is Boston is that good of a team
Well,
for the
Julius
league
Randle
right
doesn't
now.
really show up in the playoffs anyways, though. So the question is, how good is Brunson going to be? And maybe
And
Julius Randle
Brunson,
can flip the switch.
and as dope as Brunson is, like that Boston team is gonna be too much for him to go up against
I mean,
without
he's
having
going to have White and Holiday on his ass.
gonna be too much. So yeah, Boston, no offense to New York, but Boston washing them.
Hey, you know what? I'm thinking if I was Drew Holiday, I'd want my nickname to be called Draws because I'm on your ass. I don't know why nobody. Hey, shout out. Hey, if you get it, just give me credit for it. We're good. Okay, so then we have Orlando, Milwaukee. Who you got?
Milwaukee.
I got Milwaukee too. Boston, Milwaukee. Who you got?
This season, Boston.
I would have Boston. Now we have a Boston Clippers finals. Just like I said, top two teams. Who would you go with?
Wow. I'll probably go with LA. I'll probably go with the Clippers on that. No. Hold on. Let me think of this roster for
I'm going Boston.
Oh wait,
Wait,
I'm tripping. You said Boston and LA?
yeah, LA
I
Clippers.
don't know why I was thinking Milwaukee. Boston. I'm going Boston.
Yeah. So
I,
there we
I
go.
don't know why I was thinking Milwaukee. The whole reason why I froze is because for whatever reason I thought Milwaukee. I don't know what I heard, but yeah.
So let's keep that going. We just saw it from Steven over here. He's talking about Luca is going to win the MVP. Do you think Luca's going to win the MVP this year?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I could see Luka winning an MVP. I feel like the league wants to give him the MVP, not just this season, but I feel like they want to give him the MVP at some point. And Luka keeps playing well enough. He keeps doing things to keep himself on the leaderboard for MVP. So yeah, I think it's very possible Luka might get MVP this year.
They have like the 10th best record in the league right now.
I mean, if they put some more wins up, you feel me? If they get themselves in like the sixth seed somehow, he might get it.
Yeah, but they're not going to put more wins up because you have the killer that is Kyrie. Unless you have one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron, you're not getting winning ball out of Kyrie. That's always been Kyrie's problem. He plays loser ball. He's another one. He is extremely talented, but he is a point guard whose worst skill is passing. LeBron said that to him one time afterwards. He said he had a 0 assist game. He's like, bro, we cannot have you having 0 assist games ever. There's no reason why you, as a starting point guard, playing 35 minutes a game, being as talented as you are putting up 0 assists. And you're supposed to be one of the elite point guards in the league. That's crazy. So they aren't going to win. He's in and out of the lineup. He's too worried about this, that, and the other, or anything that he perceives as an injustice or a slight or anything like that. And that completely screws him up. There ain't no way they're going to have it. That's where Luca. Now, I will tell you this, Luca averaging 34, 10, and 9, you know, awesome season, but no, I just don't see him winning it. Right now, over him, there would be Giannis is putting up a magnificent season at 31, 11, and 6. I see Tatum might win it with as much as they're winning. He's putting up what 27, 9, and 5.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Jokic, another one, 26, 12, and 9. Shea, one of the best, 31, 7, and 6. Um, and those are really my only ones in there. I think Tyrese Halliburton's having a nice year too at 22 and 12, but their record's just not good enough. Um, so do you think Luca's the front runner, or who do you got as the front runner right now?
Right now, or in my mind right now.
Hey, I got news for you. If they win 67 games and
Tatum
they can
ain't
do,
ever win an MVP.
that's what
Word.
I'm saying. He's already been the best team player on a finals team. So I don't know if he is ever or not, but 67 wins and 27, 9, and 5, that's going to be something to argue about. So
Um,
who do you got for front runner?
Shay, actually. Like in my mind, I don't know about at this exact moment, but in my mind, I see Shay as my front runner.
Yeah,
Jokic.
yeah. Hey, smaller dude, 31 a game, 55% from the field, 2 steals, a block, 38 from 3. He's getting 9 free throw attempts a game. He's shooting 88%. You know what I mean? So statistically speaking, there's no holes in his game. He has one of the best records in the league. There's no reason why that Shea can't win it.
Yeah, I could see Shay getting it. He's my front runner, like I was saying. Jokic. I mean, cause I got Shay up there. I got Jokic. I got
Hey, Ryan wants
Giannis.
to know this. Did you see Duncan's comments on people saying Jokic would cook him? You think Jokic would cook Duncan if they played in their primes?
I don't know if there is a cook and Duncan. Like I don't know. Like
What
Jokic is dominating and everything like that, but part of it is because he don't have a Duncan to go up against like that.
do you think if, like, I'll put it this way, Duncan, here's the great thing about Duncan. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The number one rule of defense is staying between your man and the basket. So all of Duncan's defensive stats were while he was in position, in the right position. He'd get you 2, 3 blocks and never be out of defensive position. So even if Jokic put up a good game against Duncan,
He's right
it's
there
all
in the
because
face.
right. Do you think that's cooking him if Tim Duncan is doing everything correctly defensively?
Ooh, now that kinda, I'm gonna tell you why. So it's like sometimes if a person is just outmatched, like sometimes if a person just for whatever reason they're not tall enough, they're not physical enough, but they're doing all the right things, but it's just like you're too much of a match. It's like saying, it's like arguing Shaq didn't cook me because I was always where I needed to be, but it's just like, nah, he definitely cooked you, bro. Like, which can you can't do nothing with that. He all over, it's just barbecue chicken just all over the place. Like he's dunking on you, he elbowing all of this. Like you in position, and you as solid as you can for your stature, but you can still get cooked. So I just don't
Well,
see it happening to Tim being there. You feel me? I feel as though Tim is too great of a defender to get cooked like that.
a couple different things. So they said this right here. Stoudemire destroyed him. So let's get into that. Stoudemire's first time he played Tim Duncan in the playoffs, he averaged 14 and 8 on 52% shooting, and the Suns lost. The next time that they played, he averaged 37 and 10 and 55% shooting, and the Suns lost in five. The next time that he played him, he averaged 26 and 11 on 50% shooting, and the Suns lost. The next time he played him, he averaged 21 and 9 on 47% shooting, and the Suns won. So I don't think Stoudemire was destroying him if the Suns kept losing. And you act like Tim wasn't putting up numbers at that. Stoudemire shot 47%, which is, and all of his steps were dunks, close shots, 14 footers, 16 footers, maybe extend out 18, 20 past the elbow a little bit. And I'm a Suns fan. And if you don't believe it, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, here we go, right here. So I've watched all the games and all that. Stoudemire did play amazing, but like I said, he was getting blocked by Duncan. They were allowing him. They were focused on Stoudemire, having it in Stoudemire's hand instead of Nash's hands for most of those series because Nash would get other people involved and Stoudemire would just score two. He was shooting. Let's see, he shot 47%. You expect Mar to shoot over 50. He got 20 and 9. The only series he really, really went off was one. He had 37 points and 55% shooting, but he didn't even average 10 rebounds, 9.8. And somebody like Stoudemire should be getting over 10. So, yeah, I don't know if he destroyed him. He put up some good games against him, but he ultimately lost. Where are you at on that, Neek?
I mean, anybody in the NBA can put up some good games, but it's all
Did he
about that
destroy him?
record. Huh?
Did he destroy him?
I don't remember those games, so I really can't say.
Hmm.
But not if they're losing. Like you feel me?
I'm with that too. Let's get into Rookie of the Year. To me, I mean, Chet's
It's
got like an outside argument if you want to go with record. He's on a winning team, a team that,
okay.
obviously with their record should be having championship hopes. I hope that's really their goal. I hope they're not just happy to be there. Like we're just trying to make the playoffs and whatever happens, happens. I hope they're really going in with the chance to, want to win it. Chet's averaging basically 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2.6 blocks. And then you got Wimbiana getting you 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3.2 blocks. All the while, Popovich isn't playing him the minutes he should and is using him wrong. Who you got for Rookie of the Year?
Wemby. I think with Wemby, when he came into the league, they were already, they were just watching everything that he did because I think when he got picked, they already made their mind up that he was going to be MVP. I mean, MVP Rookie of the Year, so long as he proved why they wanted him to be, which he has been. It's phenomenal. So with that, and he shows spurts of being comfortable at times. You feel me? Like I've seen them games where he didn't look as nervous because when he first got out there, you could tell that he had the jitters and everything like that in his first game. But you're
Well, his first
seeing
couple,
as
his first couple games, he beat the Suns in a back to back. Went head to head with
you
Durant and outplayed him.
you can see the jitters though, bro. But at this point he doesn't look, he looks real comfortable, like he's out there not looking like the rookie, but he's actually out there looking like he's running things. Like I was seeing him in beginning games kind of standing around a little bit, figuring out the plays, which is fine. You know, he's a rookie, but at the same
Mhm.
time, now I'm seeing him move a little differently on that court, and he's been producing. He's been producing all season.
Yeah, I think ultimately with the rookie of the year, it's all about the numbers more so than the wins. So Wimbiana's just destroying him. They don't have anybody else to go to, and obviously Chet's playing in a system where he's uh he's definitely not the first option. So yeah, I got Wimbiana too. Defensive player of the year, I got it narrowed down to three players right now: Gobert, Allen, Jared Allen, and Wimbiana. Do you think Wimbiana has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year as the rookie? Before you do it, let me just give you some numbers. It's Gobert right now. He's getting you 13 boards, 2 blocks. He's leading the league right now in defensive win shares. Jarrett Allen, his defense is turned around. He has a net defensive win shares of 3. He has a box plus minus of 3, and his win shares overall is 22%, especially over the defensive end. He's only getting you, the numbers don't look that good. It's 1 and 1 basically, but it's 11 rebounds as well. He really anchors their defense though, forcing people into bad shots. And same thing Wimbiana, like I said, he's getting you 3.2 blocks right now and getting you 10 boards. Who would you have right now to those three?
Mm.
Just to let you know, man, I got Celtics every game. Celtics are by far the best team. I don't think the Knicks are going to beat them. So I have the Celtics, and I'll put it
You
this way right
sweeping
now,
them?
huh?
I saw they sweeping them.
I don't know if they're sweeping them, but they're well, we're talking about the tomorrow game. They're what,
Oh,
40, they're 44 and 12. So break that down to see that's 44 and 12. So that means then that they're an average of 22 and 6. Then they're an average of 11 and 3. 11 out of 14 is 78.6%. So if I pick the Celtics every time, I will be right 11 out of 14 matchups, or roughly either 3 out of every 4 times or 4 out of every 5 times, how you want to break it down. Um, so yeah, but back to the defensive player of the year. I think I would love to see Wimby. I would love to see a rookie win it. I think by the numbers, that's what matters. But I think it's Bears award right now because of Minnesota being the number 1 seed in the West, him leading the league in defensive win shares, and just how he anchors it. Plus his history of already having what 3 defensive players of the year.
I can concur with that. Like you're saying, the history's there, so he's been consistent. So he's showing consistently that this is what I do. I'm a defensive player, and with the team having the success that they're having this season, it makes it very difficult to hold him out of that when he's already, like I said, done it so many times before.
Yeah.
Mm, I would I would love to see Wemby get it too, though. To be quite honest, dang, it's gonna be interesting. As of right now, I'm going to go Bear though.
I'll tell you, he's going to become the best defensive player in the league, and you heard it here first. And that's only if you haven't heard it somewhere else. But as
Predictions.
Alsair Thompson from the Piston. That dude is awesome defensively. That dude is awesome in like just everything, really except scoring though. But I mean, that dude is a winning player. There is nobody in the league that wouldn't love to have that guy. That dude is fucking awesome. So that's going to be your future defensive player of the year. So many rookies don't come in with the defensive readiness that the NBA requires. So that's why I would love to see Wimbiana win it. It'd be pretty cool. I got a rookie of the year and I got a defensive player of the year. So
Pretty crazy.
yeah, let's get into sixth man of the year. To me, there's really only one candidate for sixth man, and is and I'm gonna ask your question. I'm gonna answer your question in a minute, Isaiah. Um, and that's Malik Monk. Malik Monk's getting you 15 and 25. He's on a winning team in Sacramento. He's also getting you 5 assists off the boards. He's shooting a decent percentage, 45 from the field, 37 from three, 53% from two, 82% from the line. Um, yeah, Malik Monk is by far the sixth man of the year to me. Who you got?
Here's the thing about Monk, and I don't disagree. He's probably more than likely going to be the sixth man of the year. The thing about Monk, though, is he's not a true six man. Malik Monk should be a starter. I mean, I get I'm arguing what he should be, but it's like the way he plays, like other teams, he will be a starter. You feel me? But I
Well,
guess
isn't that the
that's
argument for a lot of six men?
yeah,
They
that's
just
what I was
happen to
about to
be on a
say.
good
I,
team.
I was literally about to say that. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's really the point. Like, you're dope. You're so dope. We're acknowledging you should be in the starting lineup, but we don't have a room for you. So here's a
Mm,
6 man award. So I guess, but yeah, Monk, definitely.
there we go.
I mean, and then you see it across the league. You know, when you see them talking, they're pretty much all saying that Monk's been she's been showing out this year.
No, I agree. To answer your question, yes, I am a expectation for the Suns. We talked about this earlier in the pod. I am a Suns fan. Right now, the way I see them, they look like a second round team. They look like they have enough talent to get out of the first round, but the way they play is a second round team. Now, don't get me wrong. If I see, and the major factor I see is they rebuilt this team around a big three, and Bradley Beal really hasn't been able to get on the court. Um, so yeah, I see him as a second round team. Is there a possibility, like I said, if we simulated the season 10,000 times, the way that they do simulations to figure out who's going to be the best or whatever, I think there are some scenarios where the Suns could win. I could see a scenario where no matter who you're playing, that Booker and Durant are the two best players in that series. And if you have the two best players in that series, you have a good chance of winning. Just for example, um, is there? We'll use this. Let's say they played the Nuggets. Jokic is the best player. Is it unfathomable that Devin Booker could outplay him in a series? No, it's not unfathomable. It's unlikely, but it's not unfathomable. So, um, yeah. So I see a second round. Where do you see the Suns going? And then we'll get back into the sixth man,
I could see the Suns going second round, but I do have a question though. So, do they make it to the second round without Bradley Beal, or is this with Beal?
depending on the matchup.
Me? Okay. I think they can make it to the second round without Beal. I don't see the Suns winning the title. I do see the possibility because, you can't really count out the pedigree of KD, and then Booker, he's got that Mamba mentality and everything. But and then, there's Bradley Beal. But I don't think that the Suns are a championship team, but I could definitely see them going far in the playoffs. I could even see them making it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So if we're doing the what was I going to say? So, like I said, it depends on matchup. I could see them without Beal beating the Timberwolves or the Thunder, and I think they have a much better chance to beat the Thunder than they would the Timberwolves um, without Bradley Beal. If they had Bradley Beal and they end up going against the Nuggets or the Clippers in the first round, I see no. I don't even see them beating them with Bradley Beal. So who are we talking about? That's what I'm saying. It's so much about matchups and who you're playing, and we don't know where the chips are going to fall. Like I said, right now they would match up with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think they would beat them. Back to the sixth man of the year, Tim Hardaway. Yes, Tim Hardaway does have an outside chance of doing it, but here's the problem: Tim Hardaway, while he's getting more points, he gets zero point 0.1 blocks, 0.5. He's terrible on the defensive end. He gets 1.7 assists. Doesn't really care about passing, which sucks because his daddy was one of the greatest passers ever. He gets you less than 4 rebounds, despite being what 6'5". You got a guy like Curry who can get you 6, 7 rebounds a game, and this dude's getting you 3.6. He shoots 41% from the field. He doesn't even shoot 50% from the three. I mean, from two. So yeah, he's basically a guy who shoots a bunch, and sometimes they go in, but 3/5 of the times they don't go in. So that's why I don't see Hardaway comparing with Malik Monk. If you watch Malik Monk play and Tim Hardaway play, it's Malik Monk is like, dude, that is such a solid play every time you watch him play. And Tim Hardaway, most of his plays are like, what the fuck are you doing right now?
Yeah, Monk is quite composed on the court, to be honest.
Hmm.
Which is, why I feel like he should be a starter. But yeah, that's that.
Right. So that's who we got for the awards. And just real quick, I like Tyrese Maxey for most improved. Um, I don't have a whole list of most improved. I just like Tyrese Maxey. Um, but yeah, that's where we're at on the awards, and that is our show for the night. Real quick before we go, um,
Suns will
you
be the
can't see them
second
make.
round.
Like I said, it depends on matchups. If somehow they get with all their three guys, if somehow they can get the Thunder and then they get the
Hmm.
Timberwolves, I could see them making the first round. I could see it maybe if somehow the Pelicans, they match up with the Pelicans in the first round. I could see them beating them. Um,
The only teams that I don't see them beating, to be honest, is Denver and the Clippers because I feel as though everybody else that makes it, the Suns realistically could pass them.
I love Westbrook actually, sixth man of the year. I just don't think they'll give it to him. I think sometimes awards are political, and a guy like the more awards you can
Westbrook, yeah.
have, the more words you can have per people, like I said, I think Monk has a better argument than him anyways, by the way he's been playing. But the more words you can distribute out towards different people, it's a more diverse league. It's more stars. It's we get a sixth man in Monk instead of we just get Malik Monk. No matter where Westbrook goes, it's we got former MVP Westbrook. No matter if he's the 12th man, the 14th man, or whatever, he will always be former MVP Westbrook. And on that note, we're taking off for the night. We will see y'all Monday. Until then, we are dropping dimes like Dare. I'm Tony
Hey.
Styles. He is unique. Y'all stay safe.